Welcome to the Damji Show. In this episode, I got two special Canucks that I want to introduce you to. Mel and Dave are real estate investors who are working primarily in Canada, but they've also been doing a tremendous amount of real estate deals in the United States. They've been helping people in Canada purchase property in the United States for investment and for summer homes. And they're also showing up people how they can leverage their money to get much greater returns down south than you can in the Great White North. So if you're a Canadian watching this and you want to know how you can invest in the United States, this will be a great episode for you. And also, if you're an American, this will be a great episode for you to watch just to let yourself know how grateful you should be for being in this dang country. Because guess what? It ain't that good up there. So watch this episode and do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And Mel and Dave, take it away. Welcome, my YouTube family. I got two very special Canadian friends of mine who have been just absolutely crushing real estate investing in the Great White North, which many of you know is near and dear to my heart because that's where I grew up. My roots that began my real estate investing journey are from Calgary, Alberta, this little western town in the western part of Canada, which is not where my friends live. However, these two are really, really doing big things out there. And the most interesting and I think amazing part about it is that Canada has some really different rules when it comes to real estate investing. And a lot of times that stops people from actually pushing forward and getting things done, but not these two. These two came out and have absolutely smashed it. We are members of the same mastermind. We have met each other in real life, and I was a guest on their channel, and now I'm welcoming them to mine. Hello, Mel and Dave. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Great to see you both again.
Hey, Jamil. Great to see you as well. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I'd love for the international audience that watches me, I do have quite a few people who tune in from Canada, and they're always wondering, how do I get started? What do I need to do here? You know, I watch a lot of your content, Jamil, and it seems to be very US centered, but I'm confused. Are the rules the same here in Canada? Can I wholesale? Can I, how do I fix and flip? How do I get access to sold data if I'm not a real estate agent? How do I make moves? So let's first, before we get into some of those questions, find out a little bit about your guys' backstory. What got you guys involved in real estate investing out the gate?
Yeah, well, when Dave and I first met, I had two properties. Dave had the one, and we knew that someday we wanted to quit our full-time jobs. So we got into real estate the traditional way, using our own money to provide the first few properties. But then, of course, we hit a roadblock that we ran out of our own money. And we listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad when we were actually in Florida on vacation, and that changed our mindset completely. And that's when we got into creative financing. And this the following year, we bought 12 properties in 12 months. These were all in actually back then, we were only investing in Canada. Now we're in 5 countries, but these were 12 properties in 12 months in Canada, solely owned, no joint venture partners. And the next year I was able to quit my full-time job. Dave was a firefighter. I used to work at our local college, and yeah, that's when our journey started. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, or
pretty much touched on everything
there. You go.
Yeah.
That's our summary. And then since then, we've purchased over 240 units. We specialize again in solely owning, and we're doing it in 5 different countries. So yes. I know we're going to tap into your questions, but absolutely, can Canadians do this? 100%.
Well, I'm super interested in the fact that you guys are invested in 5 different countries. Personally, I'm invested in 2. I'm invested in real estate in Canada. Obviously, I have some units out there, and I'm invested in real estate here in the United States. But I've been, to be completely transparent, fearful of investing in international countries beyond that because of laws and instability in government and just not understanding in the access to information. So where are you guys invested outside of North America, and how are you guys navigating those waters?
So yeah, and we felt the exact same, to be honest with you, Jamil. So Costa Rica, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. So
awesome.
Punta Cana and DR, short-term rentals, Tulum in Mexico, and then Cocoa Beach and Acatal in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is probably the easiest out of those 3. It's so parallel to Canada and the US. But yeah, it's just honestly finding, once we found a couple of good key people through networking, right? Found a good real estate investor focused agent out there who was actually from Canada before. So he understood, what we were going through. And he introduced us to the lawyer. He introduced us to different things, and as we network. But yeah, but in the beginning it was, oh my gosh, we're going outside of Canada, we're going outside of the U.S., outside of North America. But yeah, so yeah, definitely a reality.
So investing in these other countries, right? How would you compare the returns that you're getting on a short-term rental in, say, Costa Rica, comparatively to something that you own in the United States or Canada?
It's kind of like I look at it more on a 12, well, we look at it more on a 12-month basis, right? So because there is that low occupancy season with short-term rentals, so when it's rainy season in Costa Rica, not as many people are there. But then when it's winter in North America, I wish I had more units, right? Because they're jam packed. So it does make more money when it's up and running than the longer term rentals. But then the longer term rentals during the drier months of occupancy in the short term, I'm happy I have my long term rental. So it's different, right?
I think a big part of it was just at the end, it was just to diversify our portfolio even more.
Sure.
Dave and I, we also love traveling, so it's a good excuse to have to check off on our properties there and all that as well. So that was part of it as well. But starting off, I mean, it's brand new investors. For those who are brand new, yes, typically starting off in Canada or the US would be the easiest, more traditional route for sure. But that's something that you can work towards, as you continue to grow your portfolio.
Awesome. So where are you guys focused primarily with where you guys are continuing to grow and scale the business? I'm sure you're probably adding units all over in, the different 5 countries, but there must be a central focus of where you guys got your eyeballs and your primary attention. Where's that right now?
Well, and it's funny because, in Canada right now, our main focus is in Alberta, where you're from, right? So just north of you, Calgary, or where you were, Edmonton. So we're focusing there. Focusing still in Florida.
Why Edmonton over Calgary? Their hockey team is trash.
It's honestly Calgary. Yeah, as you know, it had a nice big lift. Edmonton, I feel like it didn't get that big lift yet. That market appreciation. So. We're buying assets that still make cash flow, right? That still have an exit strategy because we're using other people's money in creative. But that market appreciation that is hopefully going to come soon is just going to be an extra cherry on top type thing. So that's why, nothing against Calgary. Love Calgary. We're going to the Stampede again this summer.
Amazing. I love the Stampede.
Yeah,
I need to take Bobby there, but I'm scared if I take, because my media manager and I are great friends and we travel all over the country together, and he comes with me to Canada sometimes when I go to visit my kid, and he's heard chirpings of this thing called the Stampede, and I'm like, Bobby, we'll lose you. You may not come home from the Stampede. It's such a good time. For those of you that aren't aware of what they're talking about, it's a 10-day where the entire city shuts down and it turns into just straight debauchery and also great Western fun. So you don't have to lean into the debauchery and the day drinking and all of the craziness, but you can lean into the great parties, the great concerts, the great opportunity for breakfasts and networking. And there's so many people from the oil patch out there enjoying themselves, having fun. Great opportunity to meet new investors. Great opportunity to talk about what you guys are doing. Do you guys find that you meet future money partners at events like the Stampede?
Yeah, well, actually, last year we were there and we did the whole, we'd do the what is it called, with the bull riding, the
mechanical bull, riding. Not the real one.
Not the real one. I'm not that brave, but and funny enough, we actually met members of our community that were there. So it's great. There's a lot of people there. It's definitely a lot of fun, and if you like a good old fashioned rodeo, that's the place to be this summer for sure.
It was my first job ever was as an usher at the Calgary Stampede. I was 14 years old, a little younger than my daughter is right now. And, it's the summertime, July, like 10th to whatever, 7th to 17th, usually. I don't know. It's, somewhere in the first couple of weeks of July. And I was such a turd during the orientation that they thought I wasn't going to show up. But if I was going to show up, they had assigned me to one of the worst jobs that you could possibly have, just because I had such a terrible attitude at the orientation. And I did pay for it for those 10 days. But it gave me an inside peek of just all of what happens, behind the scenes there. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend going and checking out. So you're focusing right now in Calgary. What are you doing there? Are you building? Are you buying and holding? Are you flipping? What's your strategy?
Yeah, so that strategy there is multifamily, right? The buy and hold multifamily. We're going to go in. do the value add. You know about all this. Yeah, do the value add, get the rents up to market rent, refinance, hopefully at that, between hopefully 12, 18, 24 month mark, depending on how much we lifted, pay everyone back. Just rinse and repeat, do that strategy. So that's the strategy. Because it is a landlord-friendly province, right? Whereas the other provinces, you can't necessarily go in and do rent increases as you'd like. So that's where we're focusing in Canada.
Awesome. So you're doing value add multifamily repositions in Calgary. There's always the question of finances, right? Financing in Canada, which is starkly different from what you have here in the United States. In Canada, you don't have hard money loans. There's actually prohibitions against it. There's usury laws, and you can't charge over a certain interest rate for, even although credit card companies get away with charging 30% on their credit cards. For whatever reason, the average Joe can't charge 13% on a private money loan if it's going to make everybody money. But, it is what it is. So is using other people's money the workaround for that?
Yeah, like we will use in first place quite often financial institutions, credit union and whatnot that are open to creative financing, and they might, depending on the actual deal, loan to maybe 60 or 70 or 80% loan to value. And then the rest of the funds can come from exactly OPM, other people's money, in the sense of perhaps it's the owner of the property that wants to, especially now more than ever in Canada, because some of the regulations with capital gains are changing. So this really, really helps out the owner from a capital gains perspective, for example. So a lot of owners are willing to hold financing, and we make it a win-win. Or you can use secured funds, for example, as well, such as in Canada would be RSPs, and in the States we use 401k.
Incredible. So you've got private money partners out there. My great friend Pace Morby likes to call them pimps, PMPs. But you got your private money partners out there. You've got your lending institutions that are helping you. Of course, you're needing to move really quickly in these deals. 24 months, typically the longest that you'll get on that kind of financing. Have you found that the lack of long-term 30-year mortgages that you can enjoy here in the United States without a rate refresh or a rate renewal, does that hinder you at all from getting involved in single family residential?
So it yes and no. It kind of depends where you catch it, right? So a lot of people during COVID, took 3-year mortgages, 5-year mortgages, and now they're on the bad end of it. They caught it low, and now they're not refinancing, but renegotiating their terms at the higher interest rate. What we end up doing is kind of our saving grace is we always underwrite with very high numbers. So for example, during COVID, when everyone was getting like 2% basically free, in my opinion, free money almost, we were underwriting deals. We were doing deals at 8.5% interest. So we were underwriting still high. So now, like for example, the building we're in, our office building, we had 8.5% financing. We just refinanced it now. I think it's like 6.5, or I forget exactly what it is.
Great.
Or 7, I forget it. Yeah, I'd have to look at the mortgage terms. It was about 3 months ago. So it's actually cheaper than what it was, when we actually bought it. So it's just underwriting very, very conservatively, adding a few points just to make sure. And if your deal can handle that stress test, then hey, odds are that when you refinance at that point, the market won't be there anyway, and you've got that kind of security or insurance.
It's always when you look at a deal, just because it's great today, well, what if things changes, right? So having those extra layers of protection in place, so that way, we've been in real estate for over 25 years combined. So it's just looking at things and just knowing and being strategic about it. So can you still make money in real estate? Absolutely. Do you need to do it properly, especially if you're going to be using creative financing? 100%, right? You need to make sure that you have an exit strategy on paying back the lenders, for example. So everything needs to be very strategic.
Incredible. So obviously you guys are very, very experienced. You just mentioned having been in the business for over 25 years. And I think that a lot of the audience that I tend to attract are just getting started in their journeys, right? And so they're probably listening to you right now saying, wow, nice for them, or sounds like a total pie in the sky dream. How am I ever going to get to where these guys got to? But you guys started somewhere, and everybody did, right? We all had our first deal. We all, had to crack open that idea in our mind that this isn't for us. We had to change our beliefs, and then those beliefs created new thoughts, and then those new thoughts created new emotions, and then that led to new action, right? And so walk me through what somebody would need to go through to get started, to change their belief system that real estate investing is not out of reach. What can somebody do in Canada right now to get themselves into a deal?
I mean, the first thing is you touched on it. It is mindset around it. Yes, it's easy to look at other people like, oh, they have all this, but you're bang on. Like there's nothing special about Mel and Dave. We're a regular couple with 3 kids, and we just made a lot of mistakes, but we set some goals, and we've educated, invested in a lot of mentors and all that, and we went through the journey. So I think it's realizing that if all these different people across Canada, across the States, across different countries are able to do this, what's stopping you as well? Maybe it's just your mindset or the knowledge or your resources, and all of that can be learned or changed as well.
What kind of deal would you recommend somebody get into for their first one?
You know what? We were talking about that today, because someone can do a multifamily, right? I always think you should walk before you run. Like, people are like, they see on Instagram and they see someone closing a 20-unit deal, and it's like, hey, cool. But they probably didn't cut their teeth on that, right? Like, I know I started with a single family. When I met Mel, she had a duplex and a triplex. So it's kind of, I always, and we get this question too in the Action family, which deal should I start out with? I love the walk before you run concept. And I also love the whatever deal is comfortable for you, which you're going to take action on. If that's a condo flip, cool. If that's a single family home, cool. If it's a duplex and you're going to house hack, like whatever's going to get you out of your comfort zone to actually do that first transaction and have that, check mark. So I don't think there's a right or wrong there. It's,
well, because there's a lot of opportunities. Like, one year we bought a 4-plex and we bought a 50-plex. These are fairly different sizes.
Sure.
Why did we buy both? Because they both made financial sense.
It's funny because our accountants, Jamil, will always be like, how come you're buying some of these smaller deals? Like, and because we're doing a flip in Cape Coral.
Because it makes sense.
I know. It makes money. What does it matter if it's a single family home? Like, it's in Cape Coral, Florida, where it's going to make us money. We're looking at a 4-plex in Lubbock, Texas. Like, they're like, why don't you go for the 30 units? Because these are low-hanging fruit. They're going to make us money. We have an exit. Like, I know. I'm the same way. It doesn't matter how many units. It's how much time and effort and energy and profit am I going to make?
I 100% agree. For me, I've dabbled in multifamily repositioning and development. As you guys know, when I was in Canada, I was doing condo conversions out there. They didn't end well for me, but it is what it is. I learned what I needed to learn so that I could do what I do now. But even when I came into the United States, we also repositioned ourselves financially through multifamily by doing Section 8 rentals and veteran housing. And that gave us the financial fortitude to be able to start investing in larger scale volume, single family residential flips. And so everything kind of is a stepping stone to the next. And you got to look at what you learn in the current deal, from the mistakes, from the wins, and then put that all together and say, okay, well, what did I enjoy here? What did I not enjoy here? What do I want to do more of? What would I leave behind? And then you pivot and you make new forward motion into something that's going to be enjoyable for you and profitable, which at the end of the day, guys, this is all it is, right? You didn't quit your job or leave your W-2 jobs to get into a entrepreneurial journey that was going to enslave you, right? You came into an entrepreneurial journey so that you could free yourself, so that you could enjoy time freedom and travel the world and have the opportunity to raise your children the way that you wanted to and make money the way that you guys want to and live a very intentional lifestyle. Walk us through what that looks like now for you guys, because you guys had mentioned you have 3 kids. You're a husband and wife team working together. I got to imagine that gets a little challenging sometimes. How do you guys do it all?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely spend a lot of time together. Not gonna lie, but we love it. That was kind of one of our goals. Was we wanted to spend more time together and do this together and choose who we're spending our days with. And now, I mean, exactly, we have a lot of flexibility. I mean, and for us, kids is first, right? It's always, I don't want to miss any hockey game. If you follow us, you'll know that we're always at the kids' activities and we're always very present. And we're able to still grow portfolio and manage everything, because with real estate, we're very much virtually based. We can do it from anywhere. We're off to Arizona next week, for example, right?
Yeah, we're actually in Phoenix.
Yeah, so
concert.
Yeah,
awesome.
So we'll have our laptops. I can reply quickly to some emails and still enjoy the time with my daughter there, right? So it's just having that flexibility of yes, still putting some time, of course, right? We always need to oversee what's happening, and having key team members as well. As we grew was super important as part of our journey.
What I find fun now is you just touch a couple of things every single day, and it just you get that ball moving. So like, just talking about the current deals, like on Monday we get the Cape Coral flip update. Cape Coral, send pics. Where are we at? We're closing a triplex in Ohio next week that we got for like $72,000. So just, okay, talk to the title company. Okay, push that one a little bit more forward. The place in Edmonton, the eightplex. Okay, we need the appraisal and the environmental. Okay, push that. Like, it's just, you're doing a little bit every day, but it's not these 8 hours of intense labor, giving your time to someone else. It's just a little bit of real estate a couple times, a couple hours throughout the day, and then we get to do our thing.
Well, what is your thing? What are you guys doing out there for fun? You guys have bought your freedom. What does it look like? Is it Tim Hortons and hockey games? Is it, days at the spa? Are we hiking in Banff? What does it look like with you two rock stars?
Well, today, what did we do? Today was, we got up at the cottage. Our little guy had hockey. We did the sauna. We went for a workout. We did a run workout
together. Of course,
yeah.
Go figure. We don't spend enough time together. We went together.
Touched a little bit of real estate, right? Sent those emails, title, and the appraisers and all that.
Now picking up our little guy after this and heading back to the cottage.
I just got to say that just sounds like a dream life. In all honesty, I'm being fully real here. That sounds like such a wonderful way to exist, right? You guys get together, you have your opportunity and time together, you work out together, you eat together, you hang out with the children, you go hang out at your cottage, you do a little bit of work, you go pick up your kid from school. I mean, these are such small things, but cumulatively they make such a full experience, such a full life, right? And that just gives you so much more joy, because you're like, wow, this vehicle of real estate has allowed us the freedom to be able to have life on our terms, to be able to go hang out at our cottage, to be able to have the time to pick up our kids, to exercise during the day. Where I think a lot of people also see entrepreneurship as, well, I want to be able to turn my day off at 5 o'clock. I want to be able to turn my day on at 9, off at 5, and then have me time. Which, again, nothing against the W-2 workers out there. God bless all of you guys for everything that you guys are doing to help other companies. And I've got a team myself that works with me, and they're helping me establish what we're doing. And we do it as a team and as a community, and which you guys are also doing as well, right? You guys are building a team, and you guys have built a community. I'd like to touch a little bit about that community, because I think when we are getting out there and taking these first initial steps out of survival mind, where things are hard, we have scarcity thinking, and we're worried that there's going to be a snake or a pothole around every corner and everything is out to get us. How do you guys filter and create an environment for people to come in and feel that they're going to be supported, loved, and dealt with in an honest, transparent manner, and have that community do so well? Because I know you guys have built a thriving one. How have you guys accomplished that?
Yeah, and I want to start off as well by saying, yes, this is our life today, but the reality is it wasn't always. And did it take some work? Of course, right? So if you're thinking, okay, well, this sounds, so beautiful and all this, and yes, I'm very, very grateful for where we are today, but we did in a short term what we needed to do to live the life in the long term that we wanted as well. So if you're listening, you're like, okay, I want that. Yes, some work is needed at the beginning to get there, and that's okay. Like, there's no overnight success. It doesn't happen. I've had nights where we were upset and didn't know what to do, right?
We just did a story yesterday, actually, on social, and we were doing our daily, we do our journals, right? I forgot to mention that today. We do our journals, write down what we're grateful for. And literally, how Google sends you pictures. 10 years ago, we were living upstairs in one of our duplexes, right? And Mel was pregnant with Colton, and we didn't have the portfolio we have. It was literally like, wow, 10 years ago. Like, so it's,
kids were scared because the windows would shake.
I know, you need to replace the window. So it's crazy what you can do in a decade.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as the community, it just very organically grew over time. When we decided to build our community, we just wanted to provide a lot of value. We wanted to help people change their lives by following a system that has helped us, and then it organically grew from there. And I think we, like attracts like, and everybody's very, very, very giving within the community. Everybody helps each other. We practice what we preach as well. We're very big as that. And whether it's our own community within our mentoring program, or whether it's even our own internal staff as well, or I don't even call them staff, I call them team members. Even our internal team members, right? Last year, no, was it this year? Yeah, this year we all went to. Actually, we were in
Calgary.
Alberta. Yeah, we went to Calgary with our team members from.
We went saw the flames, right?
Saw the flames, and just appreciating and making it a win-win, because exactly, not everybody wants to necessarily do what we're doing. But we also know that to grow, you need to make everyone feel valued. And that's how we grow as well.
Beautiful. The decision to start impacting others by becoming a coach or a mentor is always a big one, right? I remember when I made the decision from just being very focused on growing my own thing and doing what was going to be best for me versus having more of a holistic viewpoint and seeing myself as connected to everything else around me, and then wanting to see that those connections strengthen and to see the people that I was connected to strengthen and do well. But understanding that it was going to be a very, very challenging and very time-consuming decision to make. How did you guys get into the space of mentorships, and how has that been for you guys since you started that?
Us, it was a very life basically punched us in the mouth, and what I mean by that is because we had scarcity mindset. I think we had 18 properties, 76 units, and we were on our way to a real estate conference in Niagara Falls, and we had a really bad car crash. We weren't driving. Transport hit a car. The car hit us. We hit the guardrail. It was just outside of Toronto.
Oh my gosh!
And we rolled, right. So we couldn't. The police couldn't believe we were alive. They're like, I can't believe you're actually walking away from this. So it literally that same weekend. That's when we wrote our best-selling book on Amazon. And that's when we decided, what are we doing? People, even our kids wouldn't even have known how we're doing this. And that's literally when we said, you know what, we got to go on a different path in life. And that's when we created the Action Family.
Wow.
Yeah, it was terrific. The vehicle landed upside down. And I just, I'll always remember that moment thinking, I'm dying. There's nothing I can do about it. We're on a 3-lane highway. People are flying, and here we are. But luckily we did survive. And I was off. I had a severe concussion, so I was off for a while. And then that moment came where I had to go back to work. And that also came with a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety of having to go back to work to do something after almost dying that I just didn't love doing anymore. And I wanted to do what I love. And I remember, I was really stressed about it. And Dave said, just don't go back. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just quit. And I was so
we
grateful.
Had enough real estate,
we
right?
had enough real estate
Thank goodness.
to have that freedom of choice at that time, right? To make that decision. And then I quit my job. And then afterwards we decided, I was so grateful that I had that opportunity to do what I needed to do at that time. I'm like, we're just a normal couple. Why don't we help others do this as well so they can create their own freedom, whatever that means to them.
I want to highlight the fact that one of the greatest things that you guys have done came from a very painful experience that you guys had to endure. And so many of us want to have lives where we're just comfortable all the time, right? Where we don't have these really earth-shattering, life-changing, eye-opening experiences. I've had a couple near-death experiences myself, some health scares that were very traumatic. And, I do believe that when the pendulum swings in that direction, it is fortifying you, it is growing you, it is giving you the tools and the options and the necessary insights that you need in order to grow to the next stage. And everything has to grow through pain. If you look at even what happens to a caterpillar that becomes a butterfly, a caterpillar goes into their little cocoon and they molt. I mean, their entire body disintegrates. Their eyes are in a different freaking place from when they started. Like a caterpillar's eyes aren't on the same spot that a butterfly's eyes are. Like, how did that happen? And so you see that all of these transformations require a pretty dramatic and traumatic process to get to that next evolutionary spot of our life, right? And it's what you guys had to endure from having that near-death experience, having the car roll over like that. I can't imagine how fearful that was. You guys were parents already at the time, right?
Yeah.
So that's, all of that. We've got our kids. Our kids have no idea what we do or even how to maintain the legacy here. We've never shared our information. We were too scared to share because we thought we don't want to create competition. To now it's like, what are we doing? We need to be more open-minded. We need to be growth-minded, and we need to help bless everybody and also teach our children what we're doing here so that if they decide they want to take this path with us, that they're going to be able to understand and have the necessary competencies to run these properties, to be able to enjoy the fruits of the labor that our family has created here. And so, kudos to you guys for letting yourselves into that mindset where you took a painful situation and turned it into your victory.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, thanks for saying that.
It's real, and I've experienced it myself, and everyone that I've seen that's done great things has had to go through the trauma to get there. So I'd like to hear a little bit about what you guys are doing for fun now. You know, I know that of course you hang out and go to the cottage and whatnot, but like, what would you say are some of the most important things that you guys do right now that create just massive amounts of joy?
Yeah, definitely hanging out with the kids, right? Going to their hockey games. Like in a couple of weeks, we're hosting our little guys' hockey team party, right? It can be a big pool party at our place, and we get a lot of joy because we get to do that, right? Mel's oldest daughter is in bull riding, right? So she's doing that. Her middle daughter, she loves Luke Combs. That's why we're going to be in Phoenix, right? He's playing in Phoenix. So we just like whatever they're into, we're into because it means we get to spend time with them. And what we like doing is we like coupling the real estate around it, right? So just buying real estate and then kind of taking them on trips to go check it out and you know, making it an excuse to go on family vacation. So
we love traveling. That's definitely one of our favorites, is if we're able to sneak in the vacation at the same time. So I think a lot of traveling. I love seeing the world and new experiences, and I love creating memories. And it can be as simple as, you know, this weekend we're going to a hockey tournament, you know, 3 hours away from here, and that's going to be fantastic. And we get to spend our weekend with great families and great friends and watch my little guy play. Or it could be going to Costa Rica and enjoying a week or two there and checking up on one of our tour, a couple of our buildings there. And so I think it's a combination of all that. It's just really having the flexibility again, but definitely a lot of traveling is kind of our go-to.
Very wholesome. Love that. So you guys live a non-traditional life for, you know, the masses, right? I'd say that what you guys do with respect to entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and living life on your terms is like a very, very rare sliver of how people live in the modern world. And you know, congratulations to you guys for being able to do that. I think you know, many people want to do that, but don't give themselves the opportunity to. And so when you guys live this way, you inspire others to do so because they see that, wow, this is normal. This is actually an option for us. So you got 3 kids, right? Was it 3?
Yeah.
4?
3. Okay. We're a blended family. So yeah.
Blended family. Okay. So you got these children and you know, you're living a non-traditional life. What are your guys' ideas on sending them to college? Are you guys or university, as we call it in Canada, are you guys big on post-secondary education? Do you think there's other ways for folks to learn and gain experience?
Yeah, I'm all of the above. My oldest is actually in college. She wanted to pursue graphic design, and I was 100% encouraging her. You know, go after it. And chances are, if she's like us, she's probably going to change careers a bunch of times because that's really, really normal. Most of us tend to do that as well. If one of my kids don't want to, I like the experience of going away and living away from home and growing up and all of that. So definitely, you know, I am big on that. Do I think it's absolutely necessary? No, unless they want to have a certain, you know, if they want to be a doctor or a nurse, and then of course there's credentials surrounded about that. But if one of our kids decide that, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur and, you know, college is not for me, and they don't want to, I think education is 100%, whether it's mentors, whether it's coaches, whether it is at college or university as well. But we're always going to be learning. Like even now, we still have 4 coaches. I'm always going to have a coach. I'm very big on not just learning as a young adult, but as a businesswoman, as a, you know, in all aspects of my life, whether it's health, whether it's physical, whether it's business, right? So just making sure that I can be the best me that I can be, essentially.
Love that. And I think that's a really enlightened way to look at the options that are available to young people these days. You can get into a career path through experience. You can get into a career path through education. You can get into a career path through a blend of both. And so there's just so many options available. We don't need to pigeonhole ourselves into a certain way of doing things. And you guys obviously are doing well at that. And so to kind of wrap up here, I asked this question to people that I feel have figured out a really beautiful way to live. And I think you guys have done that. What do you guys think our reason for being here is? What's the purpose of our lives?
Oh, very good.
I think, I don't know, with the coaching and mentoring, we get such a different feeling of emotion and satisfaction. Like when someone retires their mom, or when someone goes on Disney World for the first time with their kids, like, I don't know, helping people achieve something is a huge great feeling. So I think it might be just, serving other people and giving more than you receive. I don't know. That's what comes to mind when I think of that.
And when I came to mind, I thought about our yesterday morning, what we did together. So we kind of sat down, we did a wheel, our own wheel of what we want in our life and everything that's important to us. So our kids, our family, our friends, vacation, trips,
Health,
our Action Family Mentoring Program, health, real estate, business, growth, and evaluating all that. And okay, is there one that we feel is not quite where we want it to be? And if so, how can we make it even better? And I guess it's having this wheel of all aspects of our lives being fulfilled. And I think when you do that, you get it back in different ways, right? Like you attract better friends, you attract better partnerships, you attract better business, you attract better, stronger relationships, and all those things as well. So I think when somebody starts working on their own wheel of what they want and realizing, okay, I might not be quite where I want to be in this category. Okay, well, put some time into that category to make it grow.
Love that. Yeah. If you don't have all of those spokes at equal length, there's going to be a really bumpy ride. And so those wheels, in order for them to be uniform, they have to have balance, and they need you to have a great strength and a strong spoke in any direction, whether that be health, whether that be family, whether that be spirituality, whether that be, business. All of these things need to be very strong in order for you to have a very smooth ride. And again, even then, guys, life is a wave, right? So you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, and you still have a uniform wheel on the downs, but it's time for you to open your eyes and see what opportunities there are for learning when you're in those lower parts. So if you're watching this right now, whether you be in Canada or in the United States, and something has inspired you, you feel like there's a fire lit in your belly and you want to know more about how you can work with Mel and Dave, how do people reach out to you? How do they join your community?
Yeah, the best bet is probably to come follow us on social media. We're always Investor Mel Dave, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. So Investor Mel Dave, you can DM us from there, and then we can jump on a call and further discuss. And you'll get to learn even more about what we do. We're very, very active on social media. So you'll get lots of free information there, and we can send you some free videos. And yeah, we can go from there.
Awesome, guys. I highly recommend you giving them a follow. I'll also put links in the description to their social media platforms so that you guys can give them a follow. And I would also recommend, if you guys are in Canada right now and you're wanting to learn how you can invest in the Great White North and do it either passively or do it actively with this incredible community that they're building, you can also join that community, and I'll have a link for that in the description as well. Mel, Dave, thank you guys so much for spending this time with me this morning. I absolutely adore you guys. I think you're wonderful human beings, and I can't wait to actually get to hang out with you guys again. This time up in Canada, though. I think we're well-deserved for a really cool lunch over poutine or something like that.
Come to the Stampede. Come on over.
Yeah. Bobby's like, yes.
Bobby,
oh, that sounds great.
Awesome.
We're in 100%.
And thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and always leave us a comment if anything here inspired you, made you feel a way, triggered you, whatever it is. I want to hear from you guys, and let us know what type of folks you'd like to hear from and what information really, really lights you up. Until the next time, guys, I'm Jamil Damji. We'll see you in the next video. Well, there you have it. Those are the two nicest Canadians there you have it. Two very nice Canadians, further perpetuating the stereotype that all Canadians are nice. But truly, they really are. They have done a great job building a great life for their families, and they've been helping hundreds of investors learn how to invest in buy and hold real estate down south. So if you are in Canada and you want to learn from them, there's some information in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.